Well, here's Jay, and thank you very, very much for being around and sticking around here for this segment of the Educated Retirement Radio here on KMET 1490, where we will be contemplating retirement, how to best prepare for retirement, and how to best stay successfully retired. And in the meantime, I will just make sure you remember to call me, email, or visit. Website is DRHECM. That's DR for doctor, HECM for home equity conversion mortgage, but just straight through www.drhecm.com. And remember, just email me, bestloantoday@gmail.com. And while you're there on that website, you might as well go about halfway down to the YouTube channel where you'll see all kinds of segments of the show, if not all of the shows, including this one. Excuse me, this one should be up there in about a day or two. And of course, subscribe while you're there. Lots and lots and lots of good information. So today we have a couple of guests who we have had before. And they were repeat offenders, both of them. And they're going to be here for the entire show, even though I do my normal, spiel during the first part. They'll be chiming in as they can. And as you recall, Daryl McCants has no problem chiming in. Do you, Daryl?
None whatsoever. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. So, just as an introduction. But you know what? I just thought I'd throw out for the sake of nostalgia. Remember back in 2008 when thousands and thousands of older homeowners lost their homes because there was no such thing as a forbearance, let alone help paying other bills? If they had a HECM, or reverse if you want, they would probably not have lost their home. Isn't it time at least to learn what this is all about? I mean, Daryl, don't you think it's time somebody pick up the phone or read or do something to know what we're talking about here? So, you need to be able to protect what you already have. So, when I say, when it comes to a HECM, or reverse, if you will, know the facts, compare the numbers. It's much too important a number to ignore, an issue, that is. And you don't want to eliminate it just because you don't understand it. Remember, equity availability programs like this, they're not a belief system. It's not a religion. It's just math. Okay, so, Daryl.
Yes, sir.
What do you think today is?
I think today is Friday.
Let's double check that, okay, with Yvette. Yvette, what do you think today is?
Today is one of my favorite days of the week.
Friday, you mean?
Oh, National something. Now I'm going to have to use my little Google to find out what today is, because every day is National something.
Yeah, it's National Beer Day.
Outstanding.
I thought you'd think so.
Very nice.
And just in case anybody wants to know, I am a loan officer at the Loan Source. And my NMLS number is 384565. Department of Real Estate number is 792-630, although I don't sell real estate. But on the other hand, I do believe Daryl does or can, so everybody's open to whatever. I can, that's for sure. I just don't do it.
Hey, Jay, can I comment?
No.
Perfect. My NMLS number is 450569, and my DRE broker number is 00947-871. I thought you would never ask.
Yeah, Daryl, that's very interesting. What were you saying about? Oh, anyway, it's actually National Lighthouse Day also. Okay?
Very nice, very appropriate.
Now, do you like the lighthouses?
I love lighthouses. What do you think of that? Do you like lighthouses?
I love lighthouses. One of my favorite lighthouses I visited was along the Oregon coast. Absolutely beautiful.
I've always
Jay,
been
don't take
somewhat. Go
Jay,
ahead.
don't take this the wrong way, but you're kind of like a lighthouse. You know, when people are trying to get to safety and find something that can improve their financial health, you're a natural for that. You know, you're like a lighthouse, like a beacon.
Listen to that.
Oh.
All right. Well, I'll accept
One
that.
more
Okay.
national day. One more national day, National Water Balloon Day as well today.
Water balloon. Yeah. And they don't do any good until they go boom. But you know, there's been so many lighthouse movies lately. I don't know if you've noticed lighthouse themed films. I really enjoyed the one directed by Robert Eggers. I don't know if you know Robert Eggers. He did the one called Witch. It was looked like two V's. It was on Netflix. It was really good. And this particular movie called The Lighthouse, and I don't have a picture of too much of it here, stars William Dafoe and Robert Patterson. And I mean, it's really, really strong. I don't have that. I don't know why I couldn't find it. But I thought I'd bring a picture of William Dafoe from 1988. In case you need to remember what William Dafoe looked like in 1988. But he's really an amazing actor. And I got to admit, Robert Patterson, has come a long way from
The
Twilight series and
Harry
things
Potter.
like that, and Harry Potter. It's very, very intense. And every bit of the filming in that movie was done with vintage or vintage type cameras and lenses, and even aspect ratios. A lot of work went into it, and I would highly recommend it. Always had that, like with that dash of romance of the high seas, you know, me sitting with my pipe, keeping the light lit for, forget all that if you see any of these movies. Forget all of that altogether.
Hey, Jay, can I comment on that William Dafoe photo you put up?
Yeah.
I think if you asked your wife, now that you've lost a little weight recently, I think you look a little bit like him.
I don't make the money he does, though.
Oh.
It's a difference. There's a couple others out there. The Vanishing was in 2018, and there was another one called The Lighthouse in 2016. And let's not forget the famous love scene, which I call between Harryhausen's Beast from 20,000 Leagues. No, 20,000 Fathoms Under the Sea, and Ray Bradbury's Lighthouse on that. What are you looking at on that thing? Oh, and there's, what was the name of that? It was just the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, right? Not to mention some other things like some Day of the Triffids, of course, which one of Daryl's favorites, and even The Fog. Let's see. I think this is from Fog #1, but both Fogs were up there. So the oldest, just so you know, it's not me, the oldest and also still operating lighthouse can be found in Sandy Hook, New Jersey. And the first one built entirely from government funds was in Montauk. Now, Daryl, you may understand about how excited I get when I hear Montauk. And many of the listeners do too. You know, you watch Stranger Things, right?
I have.
Right. And Yvette? I'm sorry. I'm getting my
I
wise.
have not watched Stranger Things. I'm out of the loop on that one.
Come on, you got to get.
Is it
How can you be
So-
that is social media itself?
Oh no, I've missed that one, but I know a lot about the X-Files, so I'm aging myself.
No, it's all right. But Montauk is a place where actually, when they were filming the Stranger Things series, the working title was Montauk because that's the place where all this weird time travel and monsters and the upside down and in and out of other dimensions has been taking place. So there. So let's fit in a break, and then we can come back with some more X-Files. See you in a minute. Just singing along here. And welcome back to the Educated Retirement Radio here on your home planet, 1490 KMET, where we've been climbing lighthouses. And reminding you, www.drhecm.com, and to call 866-955-2233. And some famous birthdays for today. Nicholas Ray. Do either of you know Nicholas Ray? Daryl should.
I've never had the pleasure to meet him.
Anyway, he popped in. Well, I'm kind of a movie kind of snob also, okay? I like to say buff, but I know you're talking snob today. He was born in 1911, and he dropped out in 1979. He's really a great film noir director who worked a lot with youth, because when he was in high school, he rated at 152 out of 153. So he was pretty close to the bottom, and he was known as a juvenile delinquent. Well, I haven't heard that phrase in a long time. That kind of goes back to our era, doesn't it, Daryl?
Yes,
Juvenile delinquent.
Yeah, but not Yvette. Yvette's so much younger than both you and I, Jay.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think those exist anymore. Well, actually, they do. They just don't call them that.
But this juvenile delinquent started studying drama and became friends with Frank Lloyd Wright and Thornton Wilder, believe it or not. Eventually, his techniques were a huge influence on what's called the French New Wave. And if you're into movies, you know what French New Wave is. And even Jean-Luc Godard gave him the title or the symbol or the moniker of cinema is Nicholas Ray. So it's a big thing. So he worked again a lot with youth, undoubtedly because of his past, and some of the movies that we've seen and know of. They Live by Night, A Rebel Without a Cause, I think most people know of, about them juvenile delinquents. Now, by the way, Rebel Without a Cause was actually, the first draft for that movie was written by Dr. Seuss. So you can put those two things together. I mean, life is strange. He also did On Dangerous Ground, Johnny Guitar. And also, whose birthday is it today? Okay. Yvette knows this one. David Duchovny. X-Files.
Oh, we were just talking about the X-Files.
This is his birthday. And no, he did not write any of the Dr. Seuss things, but he was like an English major. He was a big-time English person at Princeton and won a lot of awards for poetry from the American Academy of Poets. Now, can you imagine him talking to these UFOs and poetry? Or maybe that's how it came about. But, you never know how some things come and go. But you do like the X-Files, huh?
I do. I grew up on the X-Files. Dave Duchovny was on my television set every time X-Files came on.
Yeah, in fact, this is the look how thick that is. That's the very first series that we ever bought for the X-Files. That's series 1. And then just to show you how things change, by the time series 7 came and they started putting them on both sides of the records and more sides of the disc and more compression, there's the whole season. So it's kind of like this is me and this is now Daryl. So
You know what you don't realize, Jay, is not to brag, but if I opened up my file cabinet, you would notice files from A to Z, not just the X files.
I'm just gonna I'm gonna have to think about that one a bit. But here's one you might find in my files. Did you ever watch X Files, Daryl? Or were you too old? You were too old.
Yeah, I'm way too old for that. Yeah, but I did.
Yeah.
I on a couple of occasions, I did not get hooked on that series.
That's too bad. But let me ask you, Matt. Let me ask you a question. I really enjoyed. They had a couple of really short comebacks where they did 5 or 6 in a series one year and then another. I don't remember the years.
16 and 18.
In 19, yeah, in 19, in 2016 and in 2018, they had some really short. They were an hour long, but they did like maybe 6 or 7 of them. I thought that some of those were great. I guess it didn't make it, but so be it. But the guy that created all this, Chris Carter, he said that what inspired him to do X-Files was watching the movie All the President's Men. So I can see how some of that could be, as far as digging into and trying to get to the bottom of things. And Scully had to stand on a box a lot of the times because of her height. But you know who else was considered for Fox Mulder? Was
Who's that?
Bruce Campbell and Lou Diamond Phillips. Now, I'm a big fan of Bruce Campbell, but I don't think he was the right. In fact, speaking of Bruce Campbell, I just happen to have a copy of the Necronomicon right here from Evil Dead, for which he made famous. Anything real important? And of course, that's actually a DVD cover for Evil Dead. So, but you guys know Bruce Campbell?
I do not.
Mm.
Sorry.
He's in a lot of things. He's in almost everything that several people put in. He's got this 1987 Oldsmobile, I think, is in every movie that he's been in, including those that produce things with him, like Spider-Man, and he goes anyway. It's kind of a funny story, but I think he would be fun, but not exactly for that. So speaking of X-Files, we're running late. So do we have some X-Files music, Sean, for us, or should we run it up for next time? Okay. I think what we can do is we can take a break now, and then we can just get rolling and then get right into a couple more quick things and then roll into what our guests are here for. Now, welcome back to the Educated Retirement Radio right here on KMNET, where we're here to make sure that in these X-File types of times of uncertainty, we need to stabilize our environment, meaning it's time to empower our retirement for now and for the future. Is that correct, Daryl?
I couldn't agree with you more.
Okay. On this day in history, the premiere of now you know Roger Corman, right?
I believe I do.
Show me a little bit of of Hollywood Hollywood culture. Anyway, This was the premiere of Roger Corman's masterpiece, Little Shop of Horror, from 1960, for which I don't have anything.
No.
Oh, here it is. I have the one, it was shot in 2 days, and it's called the best film of all time that was shot in 2 days. And they used the same set as this one, Bucket of Blood. Now, none of his movies were very bloody. They were just a lot of fun. And he's still around and cranking. And, of course, Jack Nicholson, he gave Jack Nicholson his start. Jack Nicholson did actually some of the screenplay work for Harvey Korman. He also gave James Cameron. He gave James Cameron his break that made him what he was. So we owe a lot to Roger Corman. And just to let you know the story of Little House of Little Shop of Horror. You know what it is, where the plant eats, was actually based on a novel or a story, Green Thoughts, by John Collier, which I'd like to get a hold of because it seems a very imaginative tale. With ideas that can still be found in Doctor Who and the Twilight Zone. So that's pretty good. That's all I have on Bucket of Blood right now. So let's talk about you, Yvette, because we don't want to talk about Daryl. So go ahead and introduce yourself again.
Well, thank you so much, Jay. I don't know how I can compete with the Bucket of Blood, but I will do my best. So I'm Yvette Walker. I'm the president of Premier Marketing and Public Relations. I've been in marketing and product development and public relations for over 20 years now, believe it or not. I'm very grateful for Hair Dye because it covers the evidence. I've worked with companies like Sport Chalet, Southern California Edison, Macy's, some pretty large national accounts. And I love every moment of being able to serve my clients and help them expand their book of business and reach their goals. So that's what I do, and I love every moment of it.
Very good.
Oh, there, Jay.
Well, yeah.
So there.
Take there and keep it. Now, with Daryl's help, too, we're going to try to expand that into how all of us, including Daryl and Jay, and everybody listening, can try to find a way to put all that together with their own production, their own well-being, and maybe even their own income.
Hey, Jay, if I can jump in, the last time we had Yvette on, the goal was to, people plan for retirement, and many small business owners out there, never more important than now, as they're trying to meet their retirement objectives and really make sure their small businesses are taking full advantage of social media. This hour, we're excited about having Yvette back on to focus on that social media part. Her company specializes in marketing, public relations, all the above. But today we were going to really get focused on that whole social media, how that can add value and help people as they're dreaming about retirement, which comes on us faster than you can imagine, to just kind of focus on that today.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yes,
what do you
really.
know about that? What do you know about getting old, Jay?
I know a lot about getting old. I don't know much of anything about retirement.
I see. Well, you're going to learn something. You're going to learn something today, Jay.
Then lay it on me, because I'm ready.
All right. So you got it framed up, Yvette. So.
All right. So basically, what Daryl's talking about are the various mechanisms for marketing and public relations. Right now, and for the past 10 years, I would have to say my favorite has been social media. And the reason for it is because of how dynamic it is, how targeted it is, how easy to track it is. I mean, there's so many amazing things you can do with it for very, very little cost, that it just blows my mind, and it blows everybody else's mind, that is able to get over their fears or their reluctance to move into the arena. Like anything else, taking that first dip and learning how to swim can be intimidating and overwhelming. But when you have someone there by your side to coach you and help you along and teach you the basics, I think it has gone a long way. And I've been very fortunate to make that tool work for my clients.
Yvette, give us an example of a client and what you were able to do for him. Give us a specific example. I think that'll make it more real for the listeners, especially Jay, because Jay is still excited about the yellow pages. So we got to really bring Jay up.
No, I'm not knocking the yellow pages, because I used to advertise in the yellow pages for my clients as well before social media. But so let me give you an example of a model of a social media campaign that I worked on. It was one of my first campaigns that I worked on. It was for an urgent care facility. What they were looking to do was create a presence online and start growing, basically start on the right foot in the digital media arena. They wanted to increase their patient capacity. They wanted to grow. They wanted to be on the first page of Google. And as many people know, sometimes that can cost a lot of money when it's not done properly. And I'm a huge proponent of using the digital media arena in an organic form, which means less paying Google and more creating your own content to meet those markers that the search engines are looking for in their algorithms when they're ranking these websites and social media channels. So basically what it comes down to is the more content you put out there, the higher you're ranked on Google, Bing, Yahoo, all the major search engines, to be on the first pages when people are doing the searches for services or products that, contain whatever the keywords, whatever it is that they're looking for. And so I was very happy to be able to get my client on the front page of Google within 3 months. And with a very, very low budget. And they were over the moon. And within those 3 months, not only were they able to get on the first page of Google, they were able to increase their capacity by 20%. And that was after 3 months. And with that increased, capacity of 20%, they also had to increase their staffing. So that, to me, was a solid marker of a successful social media campaign. And
where do we sign?
Well,
Yvette, if you keep talking like this, Jay's going to throw his pager right out the window.
Pager, okay.
You still have your pager, Jay?
Okay. Oh yeah, of course. Pull over and make that phone call. But all of this is social media. Even the yellow pages of social media. That's how people would socially look at each other's ads and things. It's just formats that are changing. And I don't think you need to change your mind. You take one mind out and put another one in. It's just the formats are changing.
Correct.
Right. The difference is social media is a lot more interactive. The social media format platform is more interactive. It's quicker. You can interface directly with your clients, with your audience. It's just, I love it. And I've been doing this for many years now.
When you're sitting down with a new client, a small business owner that is really not aware of how you take social media to increase the amount of business that their business is currently enjoying, what's the process that you take them through? So there's a lot of people out there that are familiar with social media, but how does that affect their business? What are expectations? What's the process? What's the first step in the process?
So basically the first step of the process is what I like to call a marketing physical. I take account of what they're currently doing, what they've done, what their goals are, what has worked, what has not worked, and formulate a plan to take them to where they want to go, something that fits them specifically. And it's not a one size fits all, because it really isn't. Everyone has varying budgets, everyone has varying goals, and really listening to what it is that they want to see in their business and tailoring something special for them. So that's the initial process, is a lot of asking of questions, and then coming up with a plan. What is your message? How are we going to harness that message and create a consistent communication of that message? And so that's basically the starting point, and everything goes from there.
So some things could be, some campaigns could be just for branding, say, to begin with. Some things then on the other end could be a specific sales to try to get somebody to absolutely connect, or to call you, or to press a button and to be connected then to your website, something like that.
Correct.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and of course, my clients, what they're looking is to increase their revenue. That's always number one, increase revenue. And so whatever that means, if that means increasing sales, if that means increasing traffic through their office, whatever that means, that's what we do. We'll apply various tools and various mechanisms and automations to make it easy, streamlined, and effective. And as I mentioned before, ROI is so important. And as a small business owner, I respect return on investment. That's step one.
Oh, sure.
Respect return on investment, and I take that very seriously. And I think, my clients appreciate that. And that's why I don't make it a practice to have clients on as a contract basis for that reason. I feel like if you're doing the right thing and they're seeing the benefits, why change? So I've been very, very happy with that, and so have my clients.
Because go ahead. Well, Daryl, I'll shut up in a second though. Daryl does some other things that I don't do, so I don't want to step on those things. But when it comes to like the reverse mortgage or the home equity conversion mortgage, our biggest problem is understanding. The stigma which goes with that product has been going away, luckily, for good reason. The stigma has no reason really being there. It has a reason in history, but all that's gone. The biggest hurdle we have, and correct me, Daryl, wrong, the biggest hurdle we have is the education part. So I would like to be able to educate people. If they want to go further, and that's fine too. But the first big step would be towards education. What can we do? Call me, do this or do that, go to the site, or at least look at this, and then we can decide later maybe how much more do we ask them. Do we ask them for phone numbers for this or that, or what step does that actually come into? And that we can talk about later at a different time.
No, I think
that's
absolutely a really great point.
And that's absolutely something that social media is perfect for, because you're developing that conversation with your audience, you're informing them, you're educating them, you're dispelling those fears. And that's step one. Anytime there is some type of apprehension about something, education is step one. What is it that you don't understand about this? How can we alleviate some of those concerns? And social media is a perfect way to do that.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to more of your feedback on ways to do that. Not necessarily right now, because we have to talk. I think we have to talk one-on-one or three on whatever. What's his name over there? Which I'd be more than happy to have part of, and I would hope he would allow me to be part of any campaign, or at least to start with.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but Yvette, when Jay was talking about people's fears, it's a great example. As I was talking to Jay recently about how the plastic surgery that he has scheduled coming up, it's not going to be as painful as he was concerned it would be, and he's going to look so much better. I think his eyes are going to look more youthful. And it's just going to be really good, Jay.
191, Buster. That's what I weigh now, 191.
Congratulations.
And the pictures that show on the screen, between the breaks, that's 253.
Wow. That's impressive. That's impressive. You had to pay a big price to get there, but that's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
And still,
anyway,
I mean, if you do the math, I guess I won't be here anymore in about 6 months.
Yeah, don't be so optimistic.
Okay.
Hey, Yvette. So,
Yes.
When you're sitting down with clients, I know you're big on finding out where they're at, where they want to go, and then you explain things to them very carefully, and then you very carefully demonstrate how it works. Then you guide them through the process so that they really feel that they've got a good handle on it. And for those things that they want to kind of do on their own going forward, you got them completely enabled to do that. And so they're able to kind of custom tailor. And what do you see on the different clients? Are you seeing some that are just taking it 100% and the others are taking 50% and they want you to continue to do a certain piece? What does that look like?
So I can give you an example. For the healthcare provider, they had a logo and a very basic branding format. And what they wanted me to do was to do the day-to-day, the ongoing messaging and content for them, as well as the development of video. So video is a huge tool that is very inexpensive to implement in any social media campaign. And again, feeds into those algorithms that enhance the rankings and, viability for getting on the first page of Google, Yahoo, and Bing. So like I said, we tailor everything. So we're not looking for a specific client. If a client has some of the elements in place, we work around them. Sometimes we're doing it, from A to Z, the complete package. And either way, we make it work, and they're just happy. We're all happy with the results.
So now, just to make it clear, we're not talking about super expensive campaigns here, unless somebody wants to, right?
No,
entry level people are out there listening, not getting afraid, correct?
No, it's not scary at all. I come from a background, like I had mentioned before, of print and direct mail, where there is some real hard costs included with that. You're talking about paper, ink, finishing, postage, handling, the whole 9 yards. And those are some real hard costs that you have to build into the campaigns, and that really adds up. When you're talking about a digital campaign, everything is just so much easier. Everything is digital. It's all a matter of creating the file and running with it. The social media part does it on its own. Facebook has mechanisms to expand the reach of your effort by demographics, by region. You can adjust it by a radius of your business. If you have multiple businesses, you can
help in that regard, correct?
Oh, absolutely. That's what I do. That's my specialty. And I can track the results. I can track and see how people are responding, where they're clicking, how we can adjust the message to, mirror previous messages that were successful. And we can really formulate something that is going to work long term based on the response that you're getting in real time. And that's what I love about it.
And this may not be a question for right here, but do you send? I guess it's different for every kind of endeavor, but would you send something out every day, once a week, any kind of time?
So what I like to do is I generally don't like to flood people's walls with information. What we typically do is we'll create an ad, 2 or 3 a week, and then we'll boost it through Facebook, targeting the audience we want to target, and let it go for a specific amount of time. So it depends on if whether or not the offer is time sensitive. or certain benchmarks need to be reached. But in any event, those are all calculated and launched.
Now, before we forget, because we have forgotten so far, I guess I'm mesmerized looking at that face on the left side of my screen there. Daryl?
Are you talking about me?
How do we get a hold of you? Yvette, we need your information. Contact information.
Certainly. Okay. So my website address is www.premier, PREMIER-IE.com. And I should have a board like you, Jay, to hold up and show everybody.
Well, I use it to cover my face, so it has a really good use.
That's true.
Okay. So my direct line is area code 909-908-8493. And I'm here to walk anybody through any questions that they may have, take away some of those stigmas and trepidations, and really show them how easy and fun actually this really is.
And Jay, I'm going to brag about Yvette because she's interested in the ROI, the return on investment. So she's very sensitive. So if somebody has a small budget and they want to get her plan off the ground, and they see that it's paying for itself, and then much more, then they can increase it. So she's constantly validating and making sure that the investment is money well spent.
Absolutely.
Which unfortunately, there's a lot of people in the marketing business that are not really necessarily too concerned about that. So I think it's a really neat reality of Premier Marketing that they want to really make sure that they're keeping track of that, make sure it's money well spent, especially since, oftentimes people are trying to get themselves ready to retire someday. It'd be nice if they could have that benefit of a well-run business so that they can do what they got to do and put money away for retirement and make it happen.
A friend of mine, Lou, just texted me. There is a call-in number also, Lou, but I know you're shy. And he's asking if Yvette could tie a Facebook marketing campaign in with a direct mail campaign together.
Absolutely.
See why not,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And there are various ways to do this. And I'm going to tell you, I was at a direct marketing association meeting 20 years ago when I worked for a printing company. And back then they were saying print was dead. And I said, excuse me, it's not dead. And I very much love, the paper, hard books and everything else. And I think there's still value in direct mail as well. The key is knowing how to gauge and track the success of a direct mail piece in coordination with a digital media effort as well. And there are mechanisms and ways to do that as well by using codes, by using links on the direct mail piece to track what the response rate is, just so many things. So absolutely, you can tie the two elements together. It's just a matter of doing it with thought and planning.
Yeah, I guess the more... Yeah, the more, I was talking to our friend at NCAR, and, they do everything. And whatever they do for marketing, if they send a letter, they also do it, they try to do it. If they have the information, the email, the phone call, the mail, the Facebook, the whatever it takes, no matter where. It's like, you're part of our world.
Absolutely. And, that's part of a multi-channel effort. When you're talking about multi-channel, you're talking about social media, direct mail, direct email, text. There's so many channels that can be implemented and coordinated to have the impact that you're looking for, and really something that can meet every budget. And I think people gain the confidence when they maybe start on a small scale and see the results and then say, oh my gosh, wow, this is actually working, and they can scale up from there. I've never seen anybody scale down because the results pay for themselves, basically.
And you never know when somebody sees something, what it's going to hit. As I send out these email blasts for years and years now, sometimes they say the same thing, but after once in a while, somebody pops up, oh yeah, I need your service now.
Yep.
Right. Exactly. And that's another great element that I love. You know, I have programs that track, again, in live time, the open rate. It captures the email of the person that actually opened the email, and it tracks where they're clicking and where they're landing on those links. So it's just absolutely remarkable. I love it. You can really focus market.
I do that on BombBomb, if you're familiar. I think you said you're familiar with BombBomb. And it tells you when they open it and if they look at it. Daryl opened it, but he didn't look at it. I saw that today. But
you saw I opened mine, right?
Yes, I did. The thing is that you can tell if somebody actually opens it. You can actually call that person and say, "Oh, I was just thinking about you," and then boom, boom, boom. You know, it's like magic.
You know, you're kind of like Big Brother, Jay. You're like
medium. I'm more medium brother now.
That's true. You're more medium. That's a good point. But no, it's you know, everybody needs to stay in their lane, and the problem with marketing is, you know, there's lots of folks out there that try to convince us that we know it and understand it, and I find that most people don't know it, and most people don't understand it. And every time I get off the phone with Yvette or we're discussing it, I feel like my brain got a little bigger, my IQ went up a little bit more, and it's like everything else. You know, everything gets complicated, and she's very patient. She explains it, she demonstrates it, she guides people through it, and then they're off and running, and it just makes it really enjoyable.
Yeah, I know we're almost out of time, so I should have said this earlier. But if anybody else does have a question, the call-in number is 951-922-3532. 951-922-3532. That's to get a hold of Yvette, like immediately or whatever.
Hey, Jay, I have a question. I got a question. Here's my question, Jay. Can Yvette one more time let everybody know how to get a hold of her?
Well, it's not a question for me, of course.
Okay, go ahead, Yvette.
All right, Daryl. If you have a moment and you want to drop a line or text me, I can be reached at 909-908-8493, via email at Yvette, that's YVETTE, at Premier, PREMIER -IE.com, because we are based in the Inland Empire.
Mm-hmm. And the web and social media is based everywhere on Earth.
That's right.
So
that's right. It's the fastest growing region in the country. Jay, I need to plug the Inland Empire because we are the fastest growing region in the country. We have the most square miles in the county of San Bernardino alone than any other county in the country. And we have a ton of land that is still looking to be developed. So I'm pretty sure the Inland Empire is where it's at.
But no matter where your business is, if your business is out in India or something, they can still make use of your services to sell.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yes. And that's the beauty about social media. You know, you could target any country, any specific town, city, vicinity within as tight as a 1 mile radius to a 50 or 150 mile radius. It's incredibly customizable.
That brings up a lot of different, because I don't know what you can do with demographics anymore on Facebook. You would, but I mean, there's specific little areas, man, I would really like to dig into. In other words, all right, so you got 500 people, that's not a lot of letters to send out, but if you do that, plus the social media, plus this, and you do that, 15 different places and times, you could be doing something. So we
You
have
target
only 1 minute left. I'm afraid to
I
say.
was going to say you can target a demographic based on age, interests, hobbies, family dynamics, related pages, related interests that they have, and it's just remarkable, the different matrix that are available to target your audience.
Right.
Yeah, Jay. Even UFOs.
Take that, Jay.
Well, UFOs actually have a very large presence on social media, or all of the various organizations, MUFON and all of the others. Believe me, they're all there. We gotta go, and I gotta thank you so much. And let's talk as soon as this is over. Maybe we'll have you come back again, and we'll keep on talking. All right?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Have a great week, everyone. Thanks again.
You